there will be coming in more people later maybe, but I start because 40 minutes is very short amount of time for this topic. And today my session is Creativity Key to the Future. And it's a keynote about 40 minutes. And before I start, I will have some online etiquette with you. So please put your camera on and your microphone off. Everybody does that very well, so thank you. We will use the chat a lot, so keep it on your screen. And if you are with me and you understand me, put your thumbs up. And if you don't understand me at all, wave or do this, then I can change my explanation or give more clues. Well, my name is Juup de Kanter, and I'm a lecturer at the University of Applied Science in Utrecht. And I also have my own company, Juups, for impactful encounters. And today the topic is creativity. I'm a trainer in Lateral and in creative thinking. And in these days, creativity, we can use it a lot. And we have to come up with solutions for this 1.5 meter society. How can we connect people? How can we stage our brands? So today I will share some creative skills with you, how you can train them. And I give the 5 steps of lateral thinking so that you can use it yourself for the topics you have to solve and the questions you have to solve. Today, Eline Esther will help me as a co-host, so she will answer your chats and help me with the timekeeping and also interrupt me if somebody wants to ask something. So Eline is my co-host. You will see her on the screen when she talks now.
Hello, that will be me.
Okay. What is the program? We start with a little check-in and the IDOARRT. To know the intention of this session and the desired outcomes. Then we train our creative skills, and I take you with into the process of lateral thinking. And we also end this session with a check-out. So the 5 steps of lateral thinking are focus, creative techniques like alternatives and random entry, and also harvesting and treat and assess ideas. So that is the program of today. And for the check-in, I brought in this image. And we will try the chat now. So pick in this picture one of the objects that suits you, that tells something about you. And please put your name, the object, and why it is a good metaphor for you in the chat, please. And it's also an exercise in making associations, and it's one of the important creative skills. So test yourself, which object tells something about you.
Sorry, do we write that in the chat?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, you were very quick. The pig 2 times. It's a farm here. Yes, reaches far. Yesterday there were a lot of satellites in the sky from Elon Musk and the better Wi-Fi. So Mars reminds me of that yesterday. And yet, why are you an octopus? There are now 30 people in the chat, so there will be coming up more objects. The ladybirds. Ah, nice. There's some music people. Yes, we live on a different planet. I can imagine this answer. I use this exercise a lot when I start a creative session. And sometimes you can ask people to bring in their own object to introduce themselves. And often I switch these objects between participants. so that you think that you're the pig, but then someone else gets it and has to tell a story about this pig. And then you can exercise and try to make associations again and again. So these are also real objects I can bring in an offline event, but now I use it online. So thanks a lot for your answers and chats further if you don't put anything in it. I missed the cat. Oh, okay, you can choose a cat if it's not there. Well, I start all my sessions with an IDOARRT. It's very familiar in design thinking. And these letters are the intention of the meeting, the desired outcome, how you can learn it. I hear myself. Yoni, can you mute your microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you. The agenda of the session, different roles, we've got the rules and the time. So the intention is that I want to show the power of lateral thinking and inspire you to train this muscle. Creativity is like a muscle you can train. You can become better in it, and everybody can do it. The desired outcomes of today are that you get some techniques you can directly apply. It is also an intro in creative skills and the 5 steps of lateral thinking. And hopefully it's a source of inspiration that you can use your creativity yourself. We try it by learning, by doing, making mistakes. That's excellent source of creativity. I show you examples, and it's try it for yourself, and hopefully it inspires you. The agenda, I will start with the creative skills and then the 5 steps of lateral thinking, and then we check out again. The roles, me as a host, Eline as a co-host, and you as participants, but also as creative thinkers, event managers, and hopefully I give you some tools to use. The rules are the online rules I mentioned just before. So put your microphone off and your camera on and use the chat, please. And we have till 11:40 for all these things. So hopefully it's worthwhile. Well, this is Pippi Longstocking, and one of her famous quotes is, "I never done it before, so I think I can do it." So that's the same with creativity. Just do it, and then you will become better, and it's helpful if you train it and use it. And there are 4 creative skills that I will use today, or will show today. It's humor, how you can use it in your sessions, making mistakes, going out of your comfort zone, and making associations or associates. And the first one, humor, helps you because when you laugh together, then the atmosphere is nice, but also you connect with others and you break barriers, also in your hand. So you open up little boxes in your hand. And today for this humor, I brought my friend with me. It is the Dude. It's a game in the Netherlands, and you can do like hints with it. So I show you a movement, and I ask you in the chat, what is this dude doing, okay? Okay, is there someone who sees it? Yes, the answer is good. Quite well. And swimming, yes, he was swimming. This is the second time that I use this friend, because at Conventa crossover, an event in Slovenia last summer, I brought this guy on stage to demonstrate the 4 skills to become more creative. And if you bring this doll on stage, everybody is laughing and making fun. They want to throw this doll to each other. So it's helpful to get in the good atmosphere. And online, you see a lot of games online now to play with your friends and to make the connection online. Well, the next skill is making mistakes. And you see the post-it paper, and that's a famous mistake. There was a glue company who wants to make very good glue, and they failed, and this glue didn't stick that well. And some of the employees try it at home. He was in a choir, and he puts it in his music notebook, and then he knows where to start with playing music. And now it's one of the famous, very valuable pieces and innovations that I use in my creative workshops a lot. So making a mistake can be very helpful for you. So you need guts for it. There's a chance of serendipity. You can come up with new ideas. And well, let's start and try out if you can make mistakes yourself. And for these exercises, you need a piece of paper. So, and otherwise you can do it in your head. I will ask you 3 questions and put the wrong answer on your piece of paper. So let's start. The first question is, in which country are you now? So write the wrong answer down. The second question is, what is the color of your car? And if you don't have a car, of your bicycle. So what is the color of your car? And the third one is, how many goals are there on a soccer field? So you have 3 wrong answers on your piece of paper now. Please put it in the chat. And in this chat, you see that everybody of you gives a country, a color, and a number. So I ask you to give a wrong answer, but you're still stuck in the category. So I ask a country, and you come up with very strange countries, but it's still a country. I ask you to come up with a color, and everybody gives me a color, a wrong color, but still a color. So it could be the right answer. And also a number. So it's very difficult to break out these categories and come up with a new idea. And the real inventions took place when you combine and bring some categories together. So I think this is very striking, that you are very focused to give the wrong answer and still stay in the category. So sometimes there's someone who says camel or salt as a wrong answer. Going out of your comfort zone is also one of the things that happen if you want to make mistakes, if you want to use humor. And this is one of my favorite quotes. What if you fall, but oh my darling, what if you fly? And with this new situation, you have to dare it, jump into it, try it out. We all have to learn now a lot of things in this strange new situation. So overcome your fear and try and do it, and you will grow. In your comfort, next to your comfort zone is the stretch zone, and there is personal growth existing. So try it. And the last one is making associations. We tried it in the first exercise to combine your name with an object and say something about yourself. This is a very nice book. I highly can recommend. It's The Secret of the Highly Creative Thinker, How to Make Connections Other People's Don't. And it's a book with 21 exercises for almost a quarter of an hour to exercise yourself to become a better creative thinker by making associations. Sometimes you have to draw, sometimes you can do it by words. So, and I want to give one example. This ad is now on the television. It's about social distancing, and they use the metaphor of being trapped like mice. And if the traps are very close together and you bump a ball in it, then all the traps go off. And if there's a lot of space in between, then the ball can drop. So they use the metaphor of the trap to show that social distancing is helpful. So that were the 4 creative skills, and I try it. Get you exercise it a lot, because it's like a muscle. You can train it. Everybody can become a better creative thinker. Lateral thinking is thinking not in the main track, but use a side path to come up with new ideas. And you bring in new perspectives, and that's very helpful. And this has 5 steps in it. So the first step is that you need a focus point, a question or a subject where you want new creative ideas for. Then you need a creative technique to come up with these ideas. And normally, a normal brainstorm stops there. And that's why you don't get all the revenues out of it. It's a pity to stop there, because then a client will choose the very specific ideas. And the very worthwhile ideas are the crazy ones or the vague ones. So there are 3 more steps in lateral thinking. That is that you have to harvest your ideas to make categories out of it. That you have to treat your ideas to make them rich, more suitable to the criteria. And that you judge or assess the ideas. And when I work for a client to come up with creative ideas or to train them, then you see that focus and judgment, step 1 and 5, are outside the creative thinking tank. So outside the brainstorm, maybe the client asks me, can you do a brainstorm for this focus? And they will judge or assess the ideas themselves. So these 5 steps are together lateral thinking. It's invented by Edward de Bono, and I'm one of his trainers. So let's take you through these 5 steps. First, finding your focus. It's very important to have the good focus as a starting point for your brainstorm session, because the focus makes which type of ideas comes out of it. For example, if you have a parking problem, it's different if you ask people not to use a car or making more parking lots. If your focus is different, then the outcome is also different. And in lateral thinking, there are 2 types of focuses. One is the area focus, for example, now elderly or kids or events, meetings, activity. So they are noun most of the time. So it's a topic where you want broadly think of different solutions. But most of the time, people have a question they want to challenge. And that's a purpose focus. So we ask ways not to make elderly feel lonely, or ways to keep your kids busy at home, or ways to connect people. How can we make events suitable for the 1.5 meter society? And if you come up with these questions yourself, make sure that it's not a research question, but that you can make broad ideas, so diverge, and that it's positively formulated. For example, the first one has not in the sentence. So that's not so, it's not positive formulated. So it's better for a brainstorm session to make not lonely into make feel connected. Because if you ask yourself what you want, then you get ideas that suits this focus point. And your brain doesn't know what not means. They think, okay, I have to make them lonely. But that's not the case. We want to feel them connected. So that's about the focus. The focus is very important first step in a creative thinking process. And because focusing is difficult these days, because we can't see each other in the eye, I talk to you as a moving image between the below the camera. I do a little mini exercise energizer to focus. So please close your eyes and make circles with your eyeball inside your eye. To relax your eyes and to be more focused again. You can open your eyes. So you can do this exercise if you have a lot of meetings online, and you can relax your eyes sometimes. Well, Now we have the focus, and then the second step is to use creative techniques. And the first one is alternatives. Alternatives is a basic technique, always suitable for the start for a new project. And it generates a lot of ideas, but not very creative, because you're very close to the focus. For example, if we have the focus how to surprise a friend, then we start with use your piece of paper, put down 1 or 2 ideas how to surprise a friend. Okay, well, you always start with the focus on top of your piece of paper. So ways to surprise a friend, of how you can surprise a friend. And then your first list of ideas. That's the normal brainstorm. And in normal brainstorming, it's important to have quantity over quality, to postpone your judgment, to write everything down. And you make a list out of these first ideas. For example, you said, I can send him flowers, I can send him a card. Then in your list of ideas, you try to find some connection points. For example, I can send him flowers, I can send him a card. Has the connection sending stuff. So then you combine this connection with the focus. What can I send to surprise my friend? I can send him a cake, I can send him flowers, I can send him a plant, I can send, etc. So you come up with new ideas. And when there's nothing coming next, you can go back to your first list and say, okay, I write down, I can shock him. I can provoke him. Then you can say, okay, how can I surprise a friend by provoking him? And then you can come up with new ideas. So in this normal list, you have several ideas, and maybe you can see some connections in it. Which gifts I can give him? What can I do online to make him, to surprise him? So there are several connections, and out of this connection, you can come up with new ideas. Is that clear? What the phases are? Or are there questions about focus or alternatives? Okay, then I will go to the next one. And that's an example of Museum Gouda at this moment. They have a great collection, but they can't show it now. And they said everybody is sitting at home and we need a dot on the horizon. And they come up with this image online. You can download it and you can make your own piece of art out of it, so that we all have the same dot on the horizon. So in all these pieces of art, the dot is at the same spot. And they collected a lot of fabulous art pieces now. And there's one of the artists will make one real life piece of art out of it later, and also add it to the collection of Museum Gouda. And last Saturday I was cleaning my garden, so I make my own dot on the horizon on my chair with the cleaner. So maybe my piece of art is also in this offline piece of art after this. So they use alternatives. Everybody can add his own alternative to this one piece of art. And there's a link at the last page so that you can go and make your own art piece later if you would like to. Then the next technique is random entry. You use word or music that has nothing to do with your topic or your focus point. So let's take again ways to surprise a friend, but now we use a random entry. And we use this guy again as a random entry point. So put on your piece of paper this random entry, the dude, or this inflatable doll, he's named the dude. And think about, oh, sorry, I'm too quick. I forgot my examples. So I will come back with this exercise later. But it's a very quick technique to help you with the atmosphere in the group. And first, I'll give you 2 examples, sorry. There was a care home that was lost their residents when they have to go to a therapy or something like that. And they used the random entry bus, and they come up with these conclusion that you make a bus stop in this residence so that people who are walking can sit there and the staff can pick them up to bring them to their therapy. So that was a not familiar solution to a new question, and it's worked out very well. Another one is how to get people to your gym. This was in the non-corona phase, but they used a random entry point sofa. Can someone come up with an idea? How can you use sofa to get people to your gym? And if you have a solution, you can put it in the chat. Put wheels under the sofa, yes. Yeah, the fat ass, that was also the solution of this company, because they used also a bus stop, but they used the sofa in the bus stop, and when you are sitting on it, it shows your weight. So then, when you're too heavy, you think, okay, I have to go to this gym to become more fit and less heavy. So now we've got this example of the dude. So ways to surprise your friend, and the random entry is the dude. So write down 1 or 2 ideas yourself that you get because you think about this dude and how it can help you to surprise a friend. You're all working very hard, I see on your images. And who has the same ideas as in the first phase with alternatives? I think you come up with new ones. I make a mural for you. That's an online brainstorming board. I can recommend it. I also have the link in the slides for you. And then normally if you share this canvas, you can put and add post-it papers on it together. And from this dude, you can come up with the idea, okay, I can send him a doll maybe. Or I create a personal version of myself. That I make a doll version of myself that I can send. Or you can come up with the idea, I give him a personal gift. And you see that I make categories out of it, very specific ideas, like send him a doll, very vague ideas, like, okay, a personalized gift, and the beginning of an idea, okay, I can make a doll out of myself, but maybe it's too difficult, or there's not the technique is not available, or it's too expensive. Then you have a beginning of an idea. And these are the 3 categories of harvesting that I will come up later. So if you use the technique of random entry, then the point is start with your focus on top, come up with a random entry point. For example, now the dude, but you can also ask a roommate, can give me a noun, and they said, okay, apple. And then you come up with ideas from Apple, and you get new ideas again. So every random entry point gives you new ideas. And then you write down all your ideas and you can collect them in several categories. Is that clear for everyone? Because that, what you saw was harvesting. So you have specific ideas that you can see, it's very clear what it is. And normally, if you do a brainstorm, these are the ideas your client will pick out. And if you don't harvest everything, that's like when a farmer seeds his whole land and gets off only 30%, you say, you're a dummy. Why don't you collect 100%? That's the same in a creative session. So you have to collect all your ideas and categorize them. Look again at this idea and said, okay, are you specific? Are you beginning of an idea? Are you also specific, but there are difficulties in this idea because it's too expensive, it's illegal, the technique is not available? Or is your idea more abstract or vague, and then it's a concept? And the next phase is that you have to treat your ideas to make them all specific. So the specific, you come up with the criteria of your client or for yourself, and then the specific one has to become a more and better specific one because you use the criteria in your head. The beginning of an idea has to become also specific by enlarging the pros and removing the cons and make them also suit the criteria. And the last one, if you have these vague concepts of an idea, then you have to make it more specific. So this phase is that you make them all comparable. So they have to become specific, enriched, and suit the criteria. And if you don't use your criteria in this phase, it's a loss, because if you have very beautiful red ideas, but your client wants blue ones, and you make a better red ones, he will never pick them. But if you know you have red ones and your client wants blue ones, then in this phase you can then make them blue. And then he can choose it. So make them all comparable. That's the what you have to do in treatment of ideas. And then you have several good ideas that you can present to your client, and they can assess them or judge them. So these are the 5 phases of lateral thinking. So you start with your focus, then you have a creative technique, and we did 2 today, alternatives and random entry. And then you have to harvest your ideas to categorize them in 3: specific, beginning, and concept. And then you treat them, make them rich, make them specific, suit the criteria, and then your client or you can choose. Is that clear?
We have one question from Paula. She asks how to remove the cons without scraping the whole idea, because some groups just enjoy killing ideas.
Yes, that's a very good question. I always start with the sparkle of the idea. What makes this idea nice? Why are you laughing? Why does it give you joy? So my way is to enlarge the pros more than move the cons. But there's other people's preference are, oh, I see all these problems around this idea, and use these people because they can tell you what is maybe a problem with that idea, and you can only take some problem away if you can add a new one. So challenge them. Okay, you can say no, not only say no, but you have to come and add something that is possible. So and if you use the sparkle of an idea as a starting point, my experience is that most of the time it works out well. So we have to try it together maybe. And idea killers are very awful. So you have to dare to warm up your audience before, that they don't say no, and it's not possible. We did it once. My organization is not ready for it. So you have to use the growth mindset in this case. Is that enough an answer to your question? Okay, then we come to the end of this session, and I'm very curious what you can remember about this session. So what is the content that you can remember? Which were the steps, the creative skills? So please put in the chat what you can remember content-wise. Very good, almost everything. And finding your focus, there are also techniques to reformulate your focus. They're very helpful, because it's a very important step. And also in the harvesting, treatment, and judgment of ideas, make time for the last 3 steps. Normally we like to ideate a lot, and then all the effort is going to making more ideas. But to make them specific and suitable for your client or your question needs also a lot of time in your think tank. Yes, very good. You remember almost everything. So use your humor, use try to make mistakes. It's not wrong, it's good if you make mistakes in a creative process. Step out of your comfort zone, because then you can grow, and make associations other people don't, and use lateral thinking for your events, your questions, your private questions, maybe. And for the checkout, I want to ask you to put one word in the chat that suits this session for you the most. What is your feeling now about this session, about creativity? What pops up in your mind? Nice words. I feel happy about it. And 40 minutes is way too short to come up with new ideas. I prefer to work together to come up with all these solutions. So if you have questions later this week or in this month, you can email me, or you can go to my website. You can call me. So here are my contact information, and I will also use the contact button of NetworkTables, so you will get an invitation for me to contact. So if there are any questions or you want to add something, feel free to contact me. And I've also added 2 links for Museum Gouda and also the mural.co, where you can now in the Corona situation, you can use it 90 days for free. So it's a very helpful tool to brainstorm together and make canvases together. And this one was for this session, but you can make your own canvases. Are there any questions left? Because NetworkTables switched off this session in a few minutes, so it's not because I don't like you, but the system will lock down. I see a lot of thank yous. Thank you too for joining me. And no questions. Thanks a lot. Nice that it was inspirational. I miss the inspiration with working with people and groups. So this is a little bit to overcome this missing. And thanks a lot. And see you next time. They asked more sessions, Eline.
Yeah, you have your work cut out for you.
Hoeveel hadden we dan nou uiteindelijk op het hoogtepunt?
32.
Want ik mis dus die ene meneer van AAG, volgens mij.
Oh.
Om die chat nog terug te zien. Er zijn 2 mensen die zijn er wel, maar die gaan niet uitloggen volgens mij.
NetworkTables is Maartje, toch? Of heet ze Maartje?
Verine of...
Of ja.
Zullen wij ook
Er ook uit?
uitdraaien en ophangen? Want ik was netjes binnen de tijd, toch? Ja.
Perfect, ja. Helemaal goed.
Goed.
Oké.
Doei. Dank
Doei.
u wel.